The filter-free diary. Good afternoon. It is 1:58 and I'm sitting outside in this beautiful, bright, but kind of cold weather, and not for nothing, I think that snow glare is just illuminating this whole place like a disco ball, but the heat is just not here. So anyways, I thought it's time to talk about the afterlife, because the common misconception right now is if you suffer in this life, then in your next life you go to a better place. And that's not all religions. Some religions believe in reincarnation, which, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's real. But the idea that outside of the simulation there are two other places, a heaven and a hell, nope, that is not the case. And you might be wondering, because in the New Testament the holy man talks about, becoming a pillar, in the next life or whatever. But if you think about it, being a pillar is kind of the same as like being a pillar of the community, right? When you're a pillar of the community, you help to support it, right? Like you give guidance, you give resources, you give time, you give energy, you give whatever it is you have to support the community. And that's really what pillars do, right? They're shaped like the letter I, not for nothing. But they support things, right? And the idea that something from this life transcends the simulation is true, but it's not what you think you are, unfortunately. Because if you logically think about this for a second, the afterlife, meaning what comes after life, is called death. That's death. The afterlife is death. So let me try to explain this in a different way. What we are, the mind, the recording, the data collection that, accumulates the data through the body, right? With like sensors and all kinds of inputs, basically, right? Is born here and it ends here. If it didn't end here, then wouldn't the next place get overpopulated, if you think about it? Unless you're trying to say what gets created here just goes over there, and now would have to be a lot more than 1 billion, right? It'd have to be all the beings ever, right? And then why would you say that humans are special and animals are not? Why is your recording so much better than theirs? Yeah, yours is complete, but they have one. And then why not plants? Why couldn't plants go over there? I mean, when you get right down to it, I hate to say it, but the concept of an afterlife is really based on control and manipulation, right? Because can't all of us endure a little bit of suffering now to have something much better later? Yes, of course. And unfortunately, that's a concept that humanity is capitalizing on. Because as far as I know, and my understanding, We are the mind, we are the right? And then we got something on the left. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but we got something on the left, right? Because we're not just hanging out here trying to do everything. And the thing on the left is what this world calls like your soul, believe it or not, or some call it the higher self, or your spirit guide, or whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, it really is like locked, right? Like that soul that you got hanging out over here doesn't really get to control the body, doesn't really get to control anything. It whispers. It does very subtle things, like you can pick up on them. I'm sure most people don't or can't or aren't even aware that there is something to pick up on, but the idea is that soul is what gets reincarnated, and every time it comes back here to the simulation to learn, to grow, to do the things, it has to grow a whole new mind. It has to grow a whole new child. It has to combine with the body to make a son. And there it is. And unfortunately, that son is born here and it dies here. Just like the mother, unfortunately. The body is born here and it dies here. The only thing that is not born here and does not die here is your soul. And you can think of it kind of like a journal, so that every time you come back to this simulation, it's recording more and more information because it's trying to become a pillar. I hope that made sense. Have a good afternoon.